Locked in a closet, covered in a layer of dust, are hundreds of files, pictures, videos, and newspaper clippings documenting paranormal activity and unexplained events. These are the VAPI archives.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and welcome to the VAPI archives. Over the past 10 years, we've investigated several locations throughout Virginia and the surrounding states, and today I decided to unlock the closet in the VAPI office and dig into the archives. Now in these archives are hundreds of files of cases that we've been to throughout the years, both residential, commercial, and some urban legends. Now when we first started recording our videos, we used this camera right here, which is an old Sony 8mm camera, and our very first investigation was recorded on this camera, and those videos are actually still in the archives. The first investigation we did, it was down in Yorktown. It was just kind of a casual, informal investigation, and that footage is actually in our archives. It still has not been released. I do intend to release that footage for those of you who may be interested. But in 2014, we were a little bit behind, and we finally upgraded to digital video, and I started recording with this digital Bell & Howell camera, which has night vision capabilities. So on Friday the 13th, on the night of a full moon in 2014, we decided to venture out to Old House Woods. Now this was especially an interesting investigation because it was the one that I've talked about so many times, where one of our investigators, Leon, he saw this monkey-like figure, as he described it, leaping from one of the treetops to the other. It was the investigation where there were all these dogs that came running up the road, and one of these dogs got attacked by something. And we saw the dog running. One of the dogs yelped and was gone from the road. We couldn't find it. It was almost like something came out of the shadows and snatched him up. Now it was also an investigation where we went inside this old house that used to stand up in Old House Woods. So this is the first time ever that we're releasing footage from inside that old house. Now the old house has been torn down a couple years ago and it's no longer standing, so I feel that this is a unique glimpse. Now as you're watching this video, keep in mind that our technology at that point was not the best. The sound is not going to be the best on the video. There's no image stabilization, so it's not going to be at all like the videos that you're used to seeing today. Now if you've been watching our channel for a long time and you've been following us for a long time, you're going to remember some of these faces and some of these video methods that we used back then. And it was only 4 years ago, but it's something that I want to bring out of the archives and for the first time release to the public. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, Virginia Paranormal Investigations at Old House Woods. Here we are out at Old House Woods on Friday the 13th, and it's a full moon, and I believe it's the last time it'll be a full moon on Friday the 13th until 2049. So we decided we'd come out here. It seemed to be a pretty hot spot for us in the past, so we're going to see if we can pick anything up. This is the old house. And this is the window where we're at doing that EVP session when we heard those knocks coming from inside.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? Because you know last time when we went, it was just like rocks. We just kind of walked around. That's what I was thinking.
Alright, so here we are at the window of the house, and we're going to do an EVP session. This is Leon Wolf, Jeff Santos,
And we'd like to know if there's anyone here with us tonight. Could you tell us your name?
I heard growling.
Did you really?
Yeah, I heard it from over here, but I heard it. If you are here, can you give us a sign? Is there anything you want to tell us?
Do you know what year it is? Got some dogs barking in the background. Is this your house?
How long have you been here? Hello again.
We'd like to know if there's anyone here with us. Could you give us a sign that you're here?
We mean you no harm. Here to help if we can. That's not the pitter patter. That's movement.
No, I know I just heard someone walking down the road. Could it be a echo of that?
I doubt it.
Did
I then just heard a knock.
Huh?
Then just heard a knock.
Alright, so we're gonna take the road here.
Right now I'm trying to block out all the animal sounds, and it seriously sounded like. But it was before you tripped or moved.
Before that thing jumped in the water?
Oh, I didn't even know that was it.
Yeah, something jumped in there. It's just a frog. But yeah, we're down here on the road, and there was a noise that it's hard to tell over all the animal chatter, but it sounded like it could have very well been someone digging. That's weird. Just stops like that. Doesn't it usually stop when, like, something's there?
Yeah. There's gotta be a reason for something. So usually just stop.
There are still a lot of dogs in the background.
Walking about the same speed. Nothing.
Yeah, that's weird. How big would you say it was?
Well, honestly, it looked like it would be like a monkey size.
Jeez. Like a... Just like a normal little...
Yeah, well, I mean, from this distance, yeah, I mean, to me it looked like that, but... yeah, I mean, it honestly looked like it was moving like a monkey. Just jumping from one tree to the other. I mean, I'm not sure if that... It could have been a bird, or... But... You know, it was just black and nothing.
That's weird. I do hear something over here. I don't know if it's something in the water. Did the animal chatter pick up again?
Yeah, a little bit. And over there, it's the dogs. Over here, it's just like chirping. Not as bad as it was, though.
Proceed a little further down this road. And so far we had, yeah, it sounded like someone digging. Animal chatter stopped, which was unusual, just got real quiet. And shadow jumping from one tree to the other.
He ran right out of it, and he was just barking and yelping, but he couldn't understand that he needed to get closer.
Don't film. When you guys were upstairs, did you feel,
We didn't go upstairs.
you guys didn't go upstairs? You didn't?
No. Why? What were you gonna
Because as
ask?
soon as we went upstairs, like as soon as we turned the corner, Gary go up the steps, I felt like I was on a boat rocking, like I felt kind of dizzy and stuff. I just didn't know if you guys felt the same.
Was that by a specific room?
Yeah, it was right before we went upstairs. And then
That same room that we
as I
started to
went
hear footsteps.
upstairs, it got worse. My head still hurts a little bit from it. I still don't feel right.
My knuckles. Got it in my cheeks.
You feel it?
Yeah, something in my
Right now.
cheeks.
My head's starting to feel funny.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yep. Yeah, my stomach. I feel a little sick to my stomach.
And again, I'm used to the shit. Yeah, I definitely feel something here. We don't want to do a specific
I
thing.
can. Should I do an EP session in there?
Like, two of us should be in this room. Two of us should be in that room. I mean, there's a big hole right here.
Of course, definitely got a wet spot in the middle there.
Session 3 with Leon. Introduce yourselves.
Kendall. Lisa.
Jeff.
We are upstairs in the house, Old House Woods. Is there anybody here with us tonight? Not here to harm you or your house. Are you trying to communicate with my friend here? She's feeling a little uneasy being up here. Can you give us a sign? Let us know that you understand. It's not because your camera,
Where at?
like, right here. It's on the floor. And I looked over to make sure that you were still pointing this way and you were pointing that way. Is there anything you want to tell us? We aren't like them. We're just here to talk. Do you mind that we're in here?
Was that any of you?
Stephanie or Russell in this room over here.
It wasn't me.
Setting up.
How you feeling?
That was, I could feel something going like this. And then on the back of my arm. And my legs feel weak.
I felt like my elbow got really cold, and then something sat that way. But that was really just my elbow.
Okay, we went in the house. First floor seemed fine. Go around the corner to go up the steps. Started to feel like I was on a boat rocking. My head started hurting a little bit. Went upstairs, stayed up there for a little while, came back, and then we went and did a group session where we stayed upstairs, and then we went in that middle bedroom. And as soon as I stepped foot in the middle bedroom, I started feeling more intense of kind of being a little nauseous, my head hurting, really swaying back and forth. I was holding on to the door frame, trying to, not sway as much. It felt like somebody was caressing my backside and my arm. I guess that's about it. Just, very different.
I didn't feel anything out here tonight, or hear anything, except a frog that sounds like a cat.
Well, the first thing we had was during our EVP session at the first window, right behind me, farthest to the right on the first floor. I heard a growl, hoping the recorder picked that up. Then went inside, and the tour of the first floor, everything was fine. Then we did an EVP in the room leading to the staircase. In which case, during that session, we had movement on the far side of the house, which didn't seem like it was an animal. We've made some noise, or just the way they've been out here tonight, and unless somebody really wanted to get deep into the woods, which none of us did, none of us would have made that sound, so that's interesting. Then, damn bugs. Let's see. Then, coming out, we walked down the path right behind me as well, and, let's see, heard shoveling, sounds of shoveling, only for a few seconds, but it was definitely there. Then, also, as we're coming around a turn, there's some trees, and then some trees farther on, and saw what looked like a small animal jump from one tree to the other and then disappear. And when we turned around to try and recreate it, to make sure it wasn't just the way the trees lined up, there was nothing to be seen. So, and then we finished it up with the group EVP, where I know I could feel a presence, and while I'm sitting there, my elbow, just sitting there like this, my elbow starts getting cold, and it was as if somebody sat down next to me. And also, it probably is just the way that I've been sitting, but my knee is killing me.
Well, when we first got out here, there was a lot of dogs, and one dog was running down the road. We couldn't really see him too well, and he yelped. I don't know what that was all about, if he hurt himself or I really don't know. I don't know if something got him or what. It looked like he just stumbled and yelped. But we went over by the lower window to do that EVP session. I'm hoping we picked something up on the EVP. You know, it was definitely an eerie feeling over there. It was hard to differentiate what was out in the woods. Like, a lot of times there were raindrops, but there was also something that sounded like distinct someone walking. That was a pattern that, you know, wouldn't be the inconsistency with the raindrops. We took a walk down the road, you know, and down this road there have been reports in the past of people hearing shovels clanking in the woods, and it all goes back to the lost treasure that's supposed to be buried out here. The spirits of the British looking for it, the pirates guarding it, and it was pretty interesting that there was that sound, you know, it simulated that, and also right after that it got dead quiet, like all the animal chatter just stopped, which could very well be a sign that there was something out there. When we were doing the EVP session in the house, you know, it could have been something in the trees outside the window, but the room down the end of the hall, there was definitely a rustling in there at one point. I'm hoping we picked it up. But it was very small. It could have been something in the trees right outside, because there are trees right outside the window, but at the time it sounded like it was coming from in that room.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Old House Woods, a look inside the old house that once stood there. And as I've said before, this isn't the old house that Old House Woods is named after, but the house itself was very iconic with the location. A lot of people that investigated Old House Woods, thrill seekers and paranormal investigators that went out there to experience the unexplained activity, one of the things that would let them know that they were at the right location was seeing that old house as you came down Haven Beach Road, and it just sat almost right out on the road, a few feet from the road, and a very eerie sight as you came around that corner in the night and saw that house sitting there. And I gotta say, Old House Woods now is a different place. It's definitely a different time, and we used to go up there and experience quite a bit of activity. I do have to say, the last couple times we've been up there, there hasn't been so much activity. I don't know if that house being destroyed has something to do with the lack of activity that we've experienced up there lately. It's a place that we definitely intend to go back to. We like to frequent Old House Woods because you never know what you're going to experience up there. But thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, with this investigation, The audio files from the EVP sessions are no longer in our archives. I'm not sure what happened to them. Some of the stuff gets lost along the way. Different investigators take possession of different pieces of evidence of certain recordings or pictures, and they just kind of get lost with time. So that's the case with the recordings from the EVP sessions at Old House Woods during this trip. But definitely an interesting time, and I thank you for joining us for this edition of VAPI Archives.